Okay, let me get this straight just so I have all my facts together. You, yes you, my sweet lovable bad, have either started a YouTube channel already and you're just stuck, are thinking about starting a YouTube channel, or you're just overall curious about my editing process. Either way it goes, I got you covered in this video. Let's get to it. If there's one thing you should know for sure, the sky is the limit when it comes to editing, y'all. From photos, to text, to sound effects, literally anything that you can put in that footage, it's possible. However, there is such thing as doing too much and doing too little. So how do you combat that? Well, first you gotta identify what kind of video you're making. And in my opinion, there's two formats: sit down and vlogs. Sit down is basically this and also my video, my burnout video, if you guys want to watch it, is up here. That's what I'm going to be using as my film example, so I mentioned that. But that's also an example of a sit down video, along with other, like a plethora of sit down videos on YouTube and on my channel. Very informative type. You can show your personality, but for these type of videos, you want to keep it at a minimum just so your information just doesn't get like blobbed up and just thrown out, because then what's the point? Because if that's the case, if you want to show a lot of personality and stuff, you go to vlogs, but I'll mention that in a bit. So for editing, when it comes to a sit down video, from the beginning all the way to the end, it's very, very simple, very, very organized. You don't see like a bunch of like crazy like green screens or anything like that, and that's the type of stuff I'm talking about. Granted, could you do that? Yes, you can, but you gotta keep a middle ground. You gotta resist yourself, okay? So a good example of how I would keep everything organized in here, because it's not only about the words that you put on the paper, it's not about how you write it down, It's also about how you plan out in the editing software as well. So I would basically just make like cuts, like make moments and stuff like that. So you see like where this little purple icon is? That would be a moment where I split off my intro from a certain section of my video. And in this case, I'm just sectioning off like the definitions of burnout and what causes it and stuff like that. And then from there, I didn't put it here, but then I will put a check mark right here so that way I could cut off things to combat burnout and stuff like that. So that's how I would organize it. And then of course anything that I find relevant, so like my photo quote example I put up here, and that's within the format of videos. And that was actually a last minute decision as well, to do videos instead of pictures. I would do that. And of course when all this editing was done, I put in my music and stuff as well. And you guys can obviously see that there are some parts that's bare, and that's perfectly okay. I know I did good because that video is still doing good, and overall I was very, very happy with it because it was quick and to the point, and that's how you want to think when doing these type of videos. And on the opposite side of the spectrum, you got vlogs, which is, in my opinion, the most difficult type of videos to make, because for one, you're up and about 90% of the time. Your butt should be up from that seat, and two, you really got to be focused on what you're showing and what you're not telling, and what you're telling and what you're not showing. You need to have a balance, because if you talk too much, you're going to sit down video territory, and if you're just showing a bunch of stuff, it's boring. Like, why are you even here? Things that you should include when editing really should be emphasis on specific moments, so like what I did with the check marks and stuff, those kind of moments. Highlighting your personality. Are you a musician? Are you someone who's into like making art? Like, are you a chill low-key person like me? Are you cute? Are you funny? Are you emo? Are you a giant? Are you da-da-da-da-da? Highlight that. Like, it's the perfect opportunity to highlight it in your vlogs. And of course, sticking to what you have planned for the day or the week or the weekend and stuff. Now, this could apply to just those what I eat in the days, what I do in a week, da-da-da-da-da. Either way, it can be really, really easy to backtrack, and also can be really, really, really freaking easy to have things change. I'm referring to a weekend in my life. So say that you plan to go to the club on Friday, and then you plan to just have a chill day on Saturday. What if the club don't work out on Friday and you're just stuck doing the chill day when you should be doing it on Saturday? You get my drift? So you always want to be prepared and have something else that you could be doing, and you want to make a checklist of that. And finally, the last important step in this video, which will actually make your life a lot easier, is editing as you go. You can easily have up to 5, 10, hell, even 30 hours of footage, and who in the hell wants to sit down and go through all that footage when everything is said and done? Nobody, right? You want to edit like as you go. Again, let's look at this video example. Putting every bit of clip, every bit of footage, even the rejects, in my timeline right now. Okay, so that's not that bad. It's just about 20 minutes worth of footage, which it could seem like a lot, but it's not a lot versus the 5 to 30 hours that I was explaining y'all. So just take this and then times it by 5 or times it by 10, and that's how much footage that you would have to edit if you leave it off at the last minute. And speaking of editing, let's just get into how I edit vlog footage. I like to look at I like to make a mental note of what effects I might do after I put my moments and stuff like that. So say that a moment is right here, and another moment is right here, and then I have another moment right here, right before the ending. So how I would put those video effects and the sound effects and stuff like that will all depend on what's happening, which could be very easy to backtrack because a lot could be going on. You know, you could have a bunch of people just coming into your face, or you can have your pets yapping, you can have something going on. It really tests you on how quick you can think with your feet. Like if your dog is yapping, then maybe you can put like a little meme sound or something like that. If you're getting ambushed by your friends, maybe you could put like a little emoji just to like make fun, I don't know. But you would really just have to like think creatively in the moment, just snap, snap, snap like that. Alright, cool beans. Now you know the difference between sit down videos and vlogs and how to accommodate in editing them. But there's also a couple of effects that make the best of both worlds. So I like to put a like, comment, and subscribe tidbit in the outro. I like to put a subscribe like banner. You know those like this type of subscribe banner? I would put that at the beginning of my intros as well. I put music, of course, and screen and end cards, which is what you would put on like at YouTube when you upload. And I will put a small context of breakdown of what the video is going to be about. Now we can get into my 7-step editing process. Once you take out that SD card and download all of the footage into your editing software, put all those clips and put it in the timeline and comb it out from there. So that way it's just easier than having to pick out what's relevant and what's not. Secondly, you want to cut out all the ahs, ands, you want to cut all that out. After that, do an initial sweep. Trust me guys, you don't know how much you'll trip up once you do that initial sweep and realize that you missed 5 ums, a lot of ands, and maybe one long awkward pause. You don't know. And once everything is all nice and clean and perfectly organized, you want to mark your group of moments because this will make it easier to now finally add your edits. Go ahead, y'all. Go ahead and add your edits. Add whatever you want. And then after that, you want to do a third sweep through, and this time with your whole video done. So all your photos, your text, your definitions, whatever you add in the video, before you add music and sound effects, I'm about to get into that. You do that comb through and you see whether or not it's boring and whether or not you missed a couple of things. Boring is something that you want to look out for. If you can't even get through your video, what makes you think that anybody on the internet is going to get through it? Ask yourself that question. There have been plenty of times where I've just scrapped videos because they've just been too boring. I mean, heck, I made this exact video a year ago and then scrapped it because it was very, very freaking boring. And then after you do that third sweep through, then you can add your music and your sound effects, and I'm gonna tell you why. If you were to add your music and your sound effects and then you realize that you missed a cut here or there, or that there was just a whole big chunk of footage that was just irrelevant, then your music isn't going to line up. Okay, so say, for example, you just hit like a very good beat, like you had like an edit and it was just cutting on beat, because that could be very, very cool, and then you remove like a specific part of footage and now it's not on beat anymore, then you're gonna have to take out that music and put it back in, especially if you accidentally make cuts into your music, and it's a whole mess, guys. They can honestly be saved if you were to just add in your music and your sound effects after that third sweep through. And then finally, once you do, this is optional, do a fourth sweep through to make sure that everything that you want is in that timeline. Then you can click on the export and download that video and go on your merry way and download your YouTube video. And boom, there you have it, guys. Not as simple as you thought it would be. I know, but nothing in this world is simple. Like, nothing is worth it if it comes too easy, right? And video editing is definitely one of those things that is not easy because it can challenge you creatively, it's very lucrative, it's very complex, it's just a lot of feelings go into making this piece of content. And the best part about it is when you look at that final product and you think, wow, I did that. I put all those edits and stuff in there. I put the pieces of the puzzle together for myself, for my own consumption, or to share out with the world. It's honestly a very, very rewarding feeling. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and comment any additional questions, guys, and what you found most helpful in this video. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.